Welcome back. Thank you for staying with the Hot 7 Nightly News. A former president of the Civil Service Association says he saw the current state of industrial affairs on island coming years ago. He says right now all forces taking action, namely public servants, teachers and fire officers, need to come together as one in order to achieve positive results in their favor. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
I predicted what is happening a few months ago. These are the words of former Civil Service Association President Calix George Sr. in relation to the present industrial impasse gripping the nation. The veteran unionist said this is a natural progression from the way in which governments operate in relation to their public offices. He said there is only one party to blame.
I would have to put the blame on the government because of the fact that they are disrespectful. You cannot have industrial peace until you have, number one, trust, good faith, all right? So that there must not be any kind of, what shall I put it, level of superior attitudes, okay? Now, that is something that is probably, that is present not only in St. Lucia, but throughout the Caribbean and in some, what shall I put, capitalist-run countries, that the issue of a certain group of people are superior to another group of people.
George said there is a need for a more equitable environment in which to operate.
You cannot have a government negotiating team ignoring the the inputs from the public officers over a long period of time. I understand that they haven't met for quite a while. Okay? So this is disrespect. That's number one. So that is the first thing that has to happen. You have to respect, and of course, similarly, the public officers have to respect the government negotiating team. Now, as to whether I believe that this issue of the government negotiating team is a big farce, because behind them, okay, are the political directors. And the other thing that is lacking is that you're not negotiating in good faith. And industrial relations, trade unionism calls for good faith. So you cannot be negotiating with a team that is constrained or directed by a political thing which says that, okay, we're not giving you anything.
During his time as CSA president, George was the first president to call a strike against the government, a task which was thought to be impossible to achieve.
There was this theory, and it stems from old colonial thing that the Queen and the government are, impenetrable. And so I had to prove at the time that civil servants can in fact go on strike. You see, there was this theory that they can't go on strike because they are public servants, the old master servant thing, which again, in our colonial period, had been, shall I say, impregnated by the issue of slavery, right? Where servants were maltreated. So employers generally maltreat, and it is throughout,
George said it is very possible to achieve a favorable outcome to the impasse, and that is only if the unions and associations work together in perfect unity. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
The Secretary of the Police Welfare Association says while the organization offers support to teachers and CSA members, their present circumstances do not mirror that of the SLTU or CSA as it relates to negotiations. According to the PWA, negotiations are progressing smoothly. The association is hoping for speedy resolve with the present industrial impasse.
Unlike their fellow protective service officers in the St. Lucia Fire Services Association, the Police Welfare Association has revealed that currently they will not be following suit by taking industrial action in the coming days. Secretary of the Police Welfare Association, Zachary Hippolyte, said whilst the PWA will stand in support of the other parties taking part in the present industrial impasse, they will not be taking the same route as they are satisfied with the direction of their negotiations.
The Police Welfare Association, we would like to express thus far our satisfaction with the ongoing negotiations process. We have met with the government negotiation team on different occasions, whether it be by we inviting the meeting or they themselves, and so far our meetings have been cordial. However, we would like to express support to the other unions and would like to see a speedy resolution to the impasse currently being expressed between the unions and the government negotiation team. I would like to give encouragement and inform our members that we, the Welfare Executive, will continue the course of negotiations and we will continue to give the best representation that you deserve.
Hippolyte revealed that salary is the most important aspect of the negotiations with the government negotiations team. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
A senior correctional officer with the Bordelais facility was arrested on Monday for trafficking contraband into the prison. The veteran officer was reportedly busted with cannabis, SIM cards, razors, lighters, cigarettes, and other contraband. The deputy director of the Bordelais Correctional Facility, Leonard Terrence, has said that criminal activities at the prison will not be tolerated. The matter is currently under police investigation. In other news, the Agriculture Minister's announcement to restructure the Marketing Board has not gone down well with one farmer and former minister. He says the need for a central marketing entity is unquestionable, but even more important, he says, is the need for it not to be privatized.
Do not leave the future of your agriculture sector and farmers in the hands of private interests. That is the impassioned plea from farmer and former minister Dr. Keith Mondesi. His reference is to the operation of the Marketing Board, which will close on the 18th of March to allow government to restructure the entity, bringing in a private investor. The workers there received a notice to go home as their positions were made redundant. The Agriculture Ministry last week clarified that an interim board will be put in place of the Marketing Board as the Agriculture Ministry works with the government and stakeholders to identify a private entity that can provide the service in a sustainable manner.
The agricultural sector of a country as poor as St. Lucia should not be left in the hands of private enterprise. Reason? Because private enterprise is solely geared towards profit. Now, with the Ministry of Agriculture, they should understand that agriculture is a difficult trade and a difficult profession. They have ups and downs. Sometimes you have crops being very good, sometimes crop fail. And in every country, it's the same. So government have to participate in a meaningful way when it comes to agriculture.
Dr. Mondesi does concede that the restructuring of the Marketing Board is a necessity, but he says if it is not done carefully, it will lead to certain destruction for the agricultural sector. Dr. Mondesi says he has given his advice to the Agriculture Minister on numerous occasions to get the Marketing Board to be a viable entity.
The problem today we have with the Marketing Board is poor management, and that has happened for a long time. That has to be straightened. And two, unless you have a centralized body buying crop and selling crop to wholesalers and supermarkets and hotels, you cannot have a profitable entity. If it continues as it is, with private enterprise buying crops, the Marketing Board competing and buying crops, it cannot work. And they have to look at what the other countries have done in the past. You need the Marketing Board to be the central buying and the central distribution point for selling agricultural crops to whoever it is in St. Lucia. And then you have to add another element to it, which is the foreign element to sell crops outside of St. Lucia, get markets within the Caribbean and beyond.
Meanwhile, the union representing the staff wrote to government officials expressing concerns about the structuring and the fate of their members. They requested a business plan for the new entity in order to prepare for meaningful and objective discussion and consultation on the restructuring of the marketing board. The minister, for his part, has said recruitment and employment decisions will be left up to the new interim board and subsequent new management of the marketing board. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
The Bank of St. Lucia partnered with the 2018 Youth Ambassador for St. Lucia to host a women's empowerment workshop for students of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and secondary schools across the island. The workshop took place at the Financial Center on Bridge Street on Friday, the 8th of March, International Women's Day. More in this report.
Approximately 40 female students from the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and various secondary schools across the island came together on International Women's Day to attend a workshop with a slight difference. This particular conference was designed to focus on women empowerment, but what made it more interesting was that it was designed by one of the bank's scholarship holders, who also happens to be the 2018 Youth Ambassador for St. Lucia to the U.S. Embassy. According to Gio Geist, partnering with the bank was pivotal in helping her reach more students and achieve her goals.
One of the conditions of being chosen for this sport was that I carry out a social action plan, and I chose to do 2 or 3 workshops. I did one at the St. Joseph's Convent, one at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and in an effort to reach more people, reach more young girls and boys as well, although we focusing on girls today, I chose to work with the bank to have a women's empowerment workshop.
Corporate Communications Officer at the Bank of St. Lucia, Annalicia Edmonds Auguste, says that the workshop is the first of many initiatives the bank will be embarking on throughout the year to address some of the social ills affecting St. Lucian society.
We place a lot of emphasis on youth development, so it's really important for us to bring in the school children to help Jai with her session today. This forms a major part of our corporate social responsibility policy and what we're trying to do, and it starts off, like I said, a series of events that we're hoping to make a really bold statement with for this year and in the future.
Yourself, self-love, confidence, understanding your inner beauty, and we're going to explore what beauty means, what the standards are.
The workshop consisted of a variety of presentations conducted by guest speakers on topics such as the independent woman, rape culture, and Owning Your Sexuality by Dr. Robin Shalry White of Histoire.
So it was just really helping the young ladies understand that it's an entirely holistic experience. It's more than just sex, it's more about your gender identity, your sexual identity, how you take care of yourself, your hygiene, dispelling a lot of gender norms and roles and myths and expectations that they've gotten from social media on how they should look, how they should dress, and just having them come to themselves. And I think I wish all women in St. Lucia could have been here today, because that's really what it's about.
BOSL officials say that the company will continue to partner with creative individuals like Gio Geist and organizations like Histoire for their significant contribution to the development of our nation's youth and to the development of the nation overall. Bank of St. Lucia intends to make a bold statement this year, demonstrated by their support of women's empowerment, breaking barriers and tackling some taboo issues such as mental and reproductive health. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. Stay with us. There's much more news after the break.